We have achieved so much, especially through our collaboration with the target hospitals in Ghana, with the World Orthopedic Concern, with the West African College of Surgeons, with the Ghana College of Surgeons, working in 7 regions out of the 10 regions of Ghana. As part of this celebration, we have just returned from a fabulous working visit to Ghana. The key activity was the Lord Alton's course for surgeons in the developing world. I am glad to say this has been well received, and the Ghana College of Surgeons, who hosted the event, would like us to do twice a year. Hey. I'm afraid we have become victims of our own success. From the beginning, we had only 10 volunteers to start the charity. But now we have expanded from case-to-case success into areas that we never thought we would get to. We have become a multinational, a multicultural, multi-professional charity. We have achieved significant improvements in surgery, which has helped many thousands of people in the West African sub-region. Motec has indeed made its mark based on the objectives set out in 2006 to move hospital-based experts to go to Ghana to support the work, exchange ideas, provide training at the bases where they are. The focus has been on capacity building, and I think we've made a headway in that direction. We know that the demand for our work is very high, and we have to really make sure that our programs can be delivered without difficulty. I can say that although we are not a very large charity, there are ways and means to go about developing healthcare in the developing world. The important thing is that you can't go to a hospital to practice surgery and train surgeons, leaving the nursing staff, the radiology, the pharmacy, the physiotherapy untouched. And many charities go abroad and come back with photographs of beautiful surgeries they've done. The question is, who is going to look after the patients? And our charity does it differently. We have to involve every aspect of hospital care, including radiology, physiotherapy, microbiology, orthopedic surgery, breast cancer, general nursing care, specialist nurses, specialist surgeons. And one would have thought, how would such a small charity achieve this? The key is you work with the people, even if you are few, observe what they do, exchange ideas with them, and then they could eventually become the trainers. You bring a few people to top up, and eventually they go back to help. So we are able to achieve all this because we educate, we train a few who can actually deliver the object of the charity. We provide external examiners for the consultant specialist exams in Ghana and West Africa, which you collaborate with the World Orthopedic Concern UK. This is the only way we can make sure that when we teach, we help them get the surgeons or doctors with the right standard of care. And we're making a lot of strides in that direction. While appreciating what has been achieved in the past 10 years, it is equally important that we look forward to what can be done in the next 10 years. We have a policy of improving healthcare services, but once our objective is achieved and we know that it is sustainable, we move on to other areas or other demands. So through that, we have helped to develop a standard of care which can look after breast cancer in rural Ghana, having trained local surgeons. We have trained surgeons who can deliver trauma in orthopedics. We have trained surgeons who can do general surgical procedures. We have been able to top up their training in London through the collaboration with the London Postgraduate School of Surgery. And I would definitely talk about it along the line. Our next focus is on the government of Ghana. We know that there's a lot the government has to do for so many people. We also appreciate the difficulties that the people of Ghana are going through, especially in trauma. The trauma care in Ghana, although it's improving, there's almost complete lack of implant, and people virtually have to get on the market to get what they can get to be able to get their surgery done. This is not acceptable. Motec as a charity mobilized experts from UK based on visits that we conducted ourselves to India, Italy, and companies in UK to do a research work in Ghana and put together a paper which would help the Ghanaian government develop basic trauma implant. I'm afraid this paper is still sitting on the files of the President of Ghana and the Ghana High Commission. It doesn't take much to develop trauma implants. If you have a system that can make you simple hinges, that can make you simple nails for your doors, that technology can be improved if you make a small investment to be able to get trauma factory running in the country. What people forget is that investing in this has got its advantages. If you look at Italy, which I studied, a particular company started doing basic things, basic screws, and they end up making motorbikes. Then they went on to do implants, and they make parts for helicopter. So these factories could be a center for your engineering students to come together to learn and provide things for the country. I will appreciate the fact that it is very difficult to invest in trauma. And it's also difficult for the donors to put in so much money for such a care. They find it difficult to understand why trauma care is a global issue, that surgery is as important as the HIV, the tuberculosis, that they pour money in, whereas what is killing the people on the road is the trauma. So I would appeal to donors to look into these facts, which I'm sure our Vice President will talk about along the line. So Ghana is a challenge to you. For what has already been achieved during the past decade, there is still a lot to learn and a lot of support required to achieve a very high standard of care in Ghana. There are at least 5 key areas that Motec would continue to need support. One is financing volunteers, training programs, especially for safe surgery, patient rehabilitation, and radiology course for surgeons and residents of West Africa. Our recent training program in Accra really made people sit up at the Ghana College. There was little they knew about radiological problems, exposure to radiation, and the safety measures. So they are all out, and I'm afraid, Dr. Ash, you are going to carry the mantle. The other aspect is we need support for breast cancer care. When the charity started about 10 years ago, it was all out for trauma and orthopedics. But the kind of cases that were coming to us when they had a team from UK were mainly breast problems, which I'm afraid I don't like soft touch, I like hard bone. So I had to call on my colleagues to see what they could do. And the breast project has really taken root. If you think that the rural community of Ghana are able to come forward with diseases that they had a lot of suspicions, that they know that you go to hospital, you die. Because why? They present late. And if people go late and die, then the message that goes to the public is that breast cancer hospital treatment will kill you. But fortunately, we have tried hard to reverse this, which means they understand that early treatment can help. That means the breast team are having challenges. And I'm happy to announce that with the breast team from UK, we have a well-established breast cancer care center at Kosovo, which provides surgical care, chemotherapy, with a top-up of radiotherapy at the team also in Accra. The other item is, of course, the basic trauma care implants, which I think will need support. We would benefit from a funding of a secretariat to look after doctors coming for training in London or UK. And indeed, we have some already in training. Some of us have to use our own experts from UK based on visits that we conducted ourselves to India, Italy, and companies in UK to do a research work in Ghana and put together a paper which would help the Ghanaian government develop basic trauma implant. I'm afraid this paper is still sitting on the files of the President of Ghana and the Ghana High Commission. It doesn't take much to develop trauma implants. If you have a system that can make you simple hinges, that can make you simple nails for your doors, that technology can be improved if you make a small investment to be able to get trauma factory running in the country. What people forget is that investing in this has got its advantages. If you look at Italy, which I studied, a particular company started doing basic things, basic screws, and they end up making motorbikes. Then they went on to do implants, and they make parts for helicopter. So these factories could be a center for your engineering students to come together to learn and provide things for the country. I will appreciate the fact that it is very difficult to invest in trauma. And it's also difficult for the donors to put in so much money for such a care. They find it difficult to understand why trauma care is a global issue, that surgery is as important as the HIV, the tuberculosis, that they pour money in, whereas what is killing everyone on the road is the trauma. So I would appeal to donors to look into these facts, which I'm sure our Vice President will talk about along the line. So Ghana is a challenge to you. For what has already been achieved during the past decade, there is still a lot to learn and a lot of support required to achieve a very high standard of care in Ghana. There are at least 5 key areas that Motec would continue to need support. One is financing volunteers, training programs, especially for safe surgery, patient rehabilitation, and radiology course for surgeons and residents of West Africa. Our recent training program in Accra really made people sit up at the Ghana College. There was little they knew about radiological problems, exposure to radiation, and the safety measures. So they are all out, and I'm afraid, Dr. Ash, you are going to carry the mantle. The other aspect is we need support for breast cancer care. When the charity started about 10 years ago, it was all out for trauma and orthopedics. But the kind of cases that were coming to us when they had a team from UK were mainly breast problems, which I'm afraid I don't like soft touch, I like hard bone. So I had to call on my colleagues to see what they could do. And the breast project has really taken root. If you think that the rural community of Ghana are able to come forward with diseases that they had a lot of suspicions, that they know that you go to hospital, you die. Because why? They present late. And if people go late and die, then the message that goes to the public is that breast cancer hospital treatment will kill you. But fortunately, we have tried hard to reverse this, which means they understand that early treatment can help. That means the breast team are having challenges. And I'm happy to announce that with the breast team from UK, we have a well-established breast cancer care center at Kosovo, which provides surgical care, chemotherapy, with a top-up of radiotherapy at the team also in Accra. The other item is, of course, the basic trauma care implants, which I think will need support. We would benefit from a funding of a secretariat to look after doctors coming for training in London or UK. And indeed, we have some already in training. Some of us have to use our own NHS, please don't recall this, secretaries to try to help us. What we do. But they're doing it on voluntary basis. So if we have a secretariat to look after, I think that will be helpful. There's a lot of logistic issues involved. I think Professor Stanfield will be talking about that shortly. I think some part-time professional leave for the volunteers to be helpful. I use 6 weeks of my annual leave to do charity work in West Africa. And if part of it were to be professional, I think it will really go a long way in getting as many people to support the work we do. There are a lot of few areas that Motec will extremely be delighted to receive from you all. And I can see for certain that all the support we get from you will be channeled into our projects, and our records suggest that's exactly what will happen. I recommend that you watch the Motec presentation by the Vice President, Mr. Draper, and also the documentary. And I urge you to listen to your heart and to listen to your and to think about it in your mind. It will touch you. It will show you the difficult areas that we operate in Ghana, and to see whether you can be helpful to us. These volunteers who go to Ghana, to me, they represent the cream of our Great Britain. The dedication, the commitment is absolutely fantastic. If it comes to thanking everybody for what they've done for us, I think I would borrow the words of Einstein. Some say Einstein. And he said that everything that counts cannot be counted. So I cannot list everybody's name here. At this juncture, my Lord Professor David Dalton, I'm going to come back to you to say we thank you very much for the support you provide to our charity. Other people I will need to mention, Patron Peter Dyson. We are delighted to have him around. We have massive support from Professor Michael Stanfield from the London Postgraduate School of Surgery. And this man is very patient, even in difficulties. The volunteers have done massively well in Ghana. I would mention my parish, St. Mark's, and we have Deacon Simon Wright with us, with Cecilia.
Yes.
They have been very supportive of our charity in many ways, contributing to what we use in Ghana. The breast care consultants, Dr. Stephen Go, who is based in Peterborough City, and Dr. Ahimfo of Akosobo have done marvelously well, stretching their services from the northern part of Ghana, as far as Jirapa, if you know Ghana, to Accra. It's working very well. People are being trained and delivering the message to the public. As I've said, it's not going to be easy for me to mention everybody's name, but I'm sure you know I'm aware of what you do. Our target hospitals have been fantastic to us, and believe me or not, there are individuals who don't belong to Motec, who are just family members, who offer their rooms and their houses for us when we get to Ghana to beat out their hotel cost. And I would like to thank Dr. Rosemary Keatley, who's come all the way from Ghana to join us today. There are many more like her. I think she's sitting right behind. Our co-patron, Mrs. Rosemary Barrow, has been also very kind to us. And in fact, Rosemary has on board my niece also to support accommodation in Ghana. Thank you very much. A Ghanaian author called Lalia Gift Akita once alluded, actually she's a founder of the Smart Youth Volunteers Foundation, that if we stay united in heart and mind, we will have one people and one good, wonderful world. I believe that we can accomplish better things for the underprivileged people in the world. Right Honorable Lord Alton, thank you for hosting us, and to you all, thank you for joining us in this joy liberation. Thank you. At this stage, I will call on the Vice President of Motec, Dr. Louisa Draper, a very busy person. If things are running, she's behind it. I just stand in front and get all the praises. So, yeah, the presentation will be on the right. So I'll ask you to